Hello, welcome back to Foos Entertainment. It's time for my review of 2012's Resident Evil Retribution in 3D. Well, off the bat, this is the weakest Resident Evil film of them all. Believe it or not, the final chapter, which is the final one, is actually better than this one. That said, there are things I like about this film, like the quality of the movie. And the fact that it actually makes sense of the previous 4 films in the franchise. I saw this one in theaters as well. And it was the last Resident Evil film I saw in theaters because I didn't have high hopes for the 6th and final film. Wish I would have given it a chance in theaters. But, you know, I'll have my experience theatrically with the last Resident Evil film. Theatrically, here at my home. Alright, let's go into the plot of the film. Alright, leave it out here for specs. The plot of the film is actually pretty simple. It takes place seconds after, not minutes, but actually seconds. About 30 seconds. 45 seconds, maybe 1 minute at most, after the events of Resident Evil Afterlife 3D. The Arcadia ship is attacked by a whole army of Umbrella operatives. You basically kill everybody. At least we are led to believe, and I say that they do kill everybody because there's no information whether everybody survived the attack at the beginning of this movie or not, except for Alice, of course. And Alice awakes in a scientific research facility underneath an ocean body of sorts in the old Soviet Union in Russia. She discovers this when she awakens and somehow escapes captivity to find out from the CEO of the Umbrella Corporation, the Nemesis, Albert Ressler. He was our main villain in the previous film, Resident Evil Afterlife. That's all superpowered and stuff. Is the AI, the artificial intelligence, which controls the technology and operations of the Umbrella Corporation, has evolved to the point of no control. And has unleashed pretty much a plague upon the earth, and humanity is on the brink of complete extinction. And so their idea is to break Alice out of captivity. We find this out that some AI program, probably the Red Queen version 2.0 or something, basically is controlling all of the operatives, and they're doing it by that thing that was attached to Claire Rainfield in the last film. Claire Rainfield presumed dead, so is Chris in this movie. And they're being controlled like robots, basically. And this also includes our friend from the second Resident Evil movie, Resident Evil Apocalypse, Jill Valentine. And while in the facility, we discovered that it has a bunch of simulated realities that they can make in a holographic form. And basically, we discovered that there's not just one original Alice. And of course, we already knew this. There's clones of Alice all over the place. Well, that definitely plays in here, but what we didn't know is that there's clones of every character that we have actually seen in these movies. And the only real, actual, natural-born human beings out of all these films has been our black hero, and wonderful character of Luther from Resident Evil Afterlife. And that, of course, I would say that Claire and Chris Rainfield are regular human beings because there's no clones of them in this movie. And, of course, Leon. Yeah, I finally have Leon, the main character from the second Resident Evil video game, in this movie. Basically, they're the only real humans in all the films. Or so we believe. It does go more into he was a real human being who isn't in the final Resident Evil film, which we will get to eventually, quite quickly, I might add. It's only 2 reviews away. And we discovered everybody is literally a copy of a copy of a copy. That includes all the operatives from the first film, as well as obviously Michelle Rodriguez's character in the first film makes a return in this film. There's both for protagonist, one version of first protagonist, and their one is another antagonist, in a lot of ways one of the main antagonists of this film. And she finds a little girl in the movie and has to protect her, and this little girl took on a persona of one of the artificial, clones of Alice, in pretty much a simulated world where she's a housewife. And basically, a team led by Leon and Luther, from an outside world, the real world, are trying to rescue Alice inside this simulated research facility. And of course, it's a big battle between all of the Umbrella operative clones and stuff like that at the end. And obviously, Alice does get away. And meets up with, and barely alive, I might add, on the brink of death. And then, of course, they meet up with Albert Whistler, and he injects her back with the T-virus and turns her back to superhuman. And that is kind of where the film ends, was we see all the zombie creatures, including flying creatures, and the inevitable destruction of humanity in the Earth itself. And that's how the film ends. Alright, well, the quality of the film. First off, this one obviously is typical. It was shot in 2.35.1 widescreen, but modified to 2.40.1 widescreen for its HD format. It is in 3D as well as 2D. And usually, obviously, the full resolution left to right eye. NVC encoded 3D, which is great. The 3D in this film is pretty good. Is it as good as the last film, Resident Evil Afterlife? No, it is not. But that's because the last film was literally designed to be a 3D film. This one was converted. But the 3D convert is very good in this movie. It really has stuff that pops off the screen quite well. And you really get a lot of good 3D depth in all of that. A lot of it kind of stays in the screen, but not to stay in the screen so much like, say, a movie like Immortals 3D or Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance 3D, to where everything is in the screen and you're pretty much being robbed of an experience because there's no 3D really in there at all. It's just a gimmick. This is not a gimmick. The 3D does come out the screen. That just doesn't come out the screen as well as a movie like Resident Evil Afterlife. But it does come out the screen, I say, better than Priest, because a lot of the stuff stayed in the screen than Priest. This one was a pretty good one in 3D, for what it is. The picture, interesting enough, most of the Resident Evil films, except for Afterlife and Retribution, as I remember, I had only seen the film chapter once. I will be kind of a fresh slate watching that. I'm going to say I remember the plot of the film and all that, but I had to watch the whole movie on that one as well, because it's been so long since I've seen these. It does have much more of a cooler and neutral temperature versus a warm temperature, like the vast majority of these films. So it's much like the last film, Resident Evil Afterlife, to where it has that really good balance of cutter temperatures and stuff. So I definitely like that. The Blu-ray on this one is obviously both versions are on one disc. Automatically, the text reader is a 3D setup or not. The audio. The audio was, like the last film, a very immersive, high bit rated. It goes all the way up to almost 6.2 megabytes per second on high levels, in a low time low of about 4.0, 3.8 on its lows. And neutrals, of course, being in the mid 3s to high 4s. So yeah, very, very good. It is a DTS HD MA master audio source. I'll explain how that kind of works with those bit rates. Movies are not neutralized in any way, shape, or form with bit rates. They always go from lows to mids to highs based on what's going on in the movie, and that's what I was describing. So this is a solid sound presentation. The overhead effects are very immersive. This might as well be a TTS-X master audio source because it sounds a lot like one. There's a lot of overhead effects, a lot of use of all the sound. It is very, very dramatic, very immersive. And well, that's all there is to say about 2012's Resident Evil Retribution. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time for my review of Underworld Blood Wars. Until then, I hope you guys all have a good time and a good night.